So you wake up at 6 a.m. and you make your bed, and then you immediately get down to drinking water. You drink a glass of water, you're now hydrated, and then, you start doing your 20-minute journaling session, because it's very important to write down your thoughts onto paper, and you have this huge gratitude list because, right, you have to practice gratitude. Of course, how else can you experience a grateful life? And then you go and you do your cold shower. Because for some reason you decided that you're dirty in the morning and you need a shower. So you do a cold shower for no other reason but to wake yourself up and a bunch of random benefits, right? And then you make a green smoothie because you need to detoxify your body, because your body doesn't do that itself. So you need to feed it a green smoothie. You gather all these veggies, you put it in the thing, you spin it, and you get your smoothie, right? And then you have your meditation session. You sit down for half an hour, you listen to you put the music on, the right soft ambient music. You listen to the birds chirp outside, you have your coffee, and who knows, maybe you went for a run, but you probably didn't, because people who go on runs are actually way more productive than that. And yeah, you decided to then start reading your book, because that's one of the most productive things you can do, right? So you read your book, it's for half an hour, it's on self-help. And I've read a lot of these self-help books, and clearly they helped me refine this kind of routine. And then you open up your color-coded planner. It has everything and highlighted. It's a calendar. It's got everything to do on when and what time it should be done. Maybe even have an hourly breakdown. And you're like, all right, I'm going to start. So I'm going to start with my morning affirmations. You get in front of the mirror. You start telling yourself, I am this, I am that. All right, you got that out of the way. And now it's time to start my day, because it's already noon. But wait, it's lunchtime. So I'm going to have lunch. You have a big meal. You get relaxed. After the fact, you want to take a nap, or you just don't feel like doing anything because you're so full. You need to let the meal digest. And then, eventually after you do that, you watch a couple shows. It's 4 p.m. Your day is over. You can now freely enjoy your evening. And that's exactly what I'm against. And the funny thing is, I used to be the to-do list guy. My first and foremost, I absolutely loved to-do lists. I'm a very organized person, and I made my to-do lists all day. It was like a list on my phone. I would always write down every single thing that I thought I had to do. And today, to-do lists are the bane of my existence. Actually, I don't even know what that means, but I thought it sounds cool. But the point is, it is the worst thing for me to do. I will never, ever, ever, ever make to-do lists, and I never do anymore. And I'll tell you why. I'll take you through some of the reasons, or just the story in general of how I came to this conclusion, why to-do lists are absolute bullshit. And this isn't coming from someone who hasn't really done many things, or, I don't actually know how busy people operate, because busy people have so many things to do. They have to have a to-do list. I've also done my fair share of things, and I've had to-do lists, and still it's not worth it. And so anyway, moving forward, when I was in uni, this was especially crazy, because in university you get so much homework, assignments. I was studying to become a doctor, and I had to get certain grades and all of that. And so every class I would write down the lecture number that I think I should rewatch after, because they were all recorded. I would also, I would put down the homework, the assignments, the labs I had to do, and I would also break it down so that I have more points on my to-do list. So instead of saying, do lab 4, I'd be like, do the introduction of the lab, then do the midsection of the lab, then do the results and analysis, whatever, that whole breakdown, just so that I could mark it off when I've done each part. And I would go throughout the day treating it like a collection game, like I'm collecting tasks for me to do, and it felt fun. And I would get home and I would get nothing done. Absolutely nothing, because I felt like I already put so much effort into this, and now I see it on a list, so I'm not going to miss it. Now I can go to sleep. And maybe I'll do it tomorrow. And maybe tomorrow, if I have less classes, I'll start working on it. The funny thing is, to fast forward this entire thing, I always ended up doing the bare minimum on that to-do list. I only did the things that counted. I didn't do any extra studying, watching the lectures again. No, I just did the bare minimum. I'll submit the lab because labs count. I'll submit the assignment. That's it. I wouldn't even study for the test. I didn't care about that. And the funny thing is, the whole breakdown I gave you, was kind of sarcastic in the beginning of the video. Individually, those things that I listed aren't bad. I do some of those things every now and then, or some things that I have in a systemized way, once a week, whatever. But when you do it intentionally, and when your day is already full of things that move the needle, something that leaves a footprint in your life, something that you do today that's still going to matter in 10 years from now. After I've done all those things, or regardless that I'm going to do those, yeah, there might be a few fluff activities, which is like, I don't know, these days, what do I do? Sometimes I'll read a book every now and then. Not write things down. I will not do that. Cold showers, not really. I'm not going to get into the shower randomly. It's just a waste of time. Like, why would I get in the shower if I'm not dirty? Why don't I get in the shower at the end of the day, before bed, right? All these kinds of things. And the interesting thing is how it works today. How do I keep track of things if I don't write them down? Well, you might be thinking that, hey, if you write things down from your head onto paper, you alleviate some RAM, some extra memory, so you don't have to keep things in your head the whole time, so you feel more relieved. But really, it does a couple things for you when you make a to-do list. First of all, when it gets too long, and it always does. You guys know this, the list always gets too long. It starts off with a couple things and you do them right away, and then eventually it gets way too long and you carry it over from one day to the next. And until the point where it's just too big. It looks too much to tackle. It's just way too long of a list, and you're like, okay, maybe I'll just do like one thing on there or two things. Or you're like, I don't even know where to start, and you feel like saving it for the next day. Because your mind comprehends the entire list as one. So you start thinking, okay, this is all of the things I have to do, and now suddenly you're unmotivated to do anything. And the other thing it does, when you're making that list, you're giving yourself that feeling as if you've already done it. It's that quick shot from your brain saying, congratulations, you wrote that down, isn't like you completed that task, but you didn't. It's still on your shoulders. And how I do it these days, it's actually very simple. Maybe you want to try it, maybe you don't. But anything that I need to do, anything that comes up, it's life, things come up all the time, I do it as soon as humanly possible. And let me expand on that a little bit. Doing it as soon as possible doesn't mean you stop. You can't just leave work and go and do it, right? No, finish what you're doing and do it at the next available possibility. And usually that takes care of most of it. And as inconvenient as it seems in the moment, like, I don't want to do that right now, you go and do it. You go and do it, and that's it. It's out of your mind. You never wrote it down. You actually did the thing, and you left an imprint on your life. You didn't just talk and think about it. You just did it. You went out and did it. You still get that kick from it, that you feel good that you did something useful. And that's it. You have nothing for the next day. Next day, there's always things coming up in life. And you might be thinking, all right then, well, how is it that if I have multiple things to do and there's no way I can do this today, like it's just not physically possible, it has to be tomorrow or it has to be on the weekend. All right, then do it on those days. Schedule it. Make a plan for it. Like this Sunday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., I am doing this. In fact, I literally did this the other day. My car's brakes, my rear brakes wore down. I needed to replace them. And what did I do? I shit you not, as soon as I clocked the fact that, all right, these brakes are done. Like before too long, they're gonna start screeching. So as soon as I parked my car, I pulled up my phone, I went online and I searched up brakes, and then I thought, should I buy them in the store or online? I searched, did some research, bought them right then and there, ordered the brakes. They came 2 weeks later. As soon as they arrived, all right, next Monday in the morning, I have availability. I blocked off that time. I'm going to replace my brakes. That's it. And so then Monday came around. I brought my car, lifted it, and started changing my brakes. Maybe you have people for that. Maybe you can just send it to a shop. I don't know, whatever. But what I'm saying is, you end up doing those things so much faster that life can't catch up with you. You feel like you can't catch up with life. Now life has to catch up with you because you're so fast. And what about the things that you forgot about? What if there was 3 important things and you scheduled them out and you just kind of, okay, I'm doing this one right now, that one I can do tomorrow, and then tomorrow comes and you forget. Well, guess what? It wasn't that important. It wasn't that important to begin with. Just think about that. It's not that important. If it's important, your brain is going to remind you again, or something in your life is going to remind you that, oh shit, I still have to do that. But if you never ended up doing it, clearly it was like one of those tasks that for me was watch lecture 17 again for a better understanding. And I never ended up doing that anyway. But it stayed on the list. It stayed in your vision, right? And for a second there, just imagine what it's like to not have a to-do list, but everything is always done. That's how it feels like. I literally have nothing to do right now. Like, yeah, there's always work to do, obviously, but I'm saying there's no to-do list. Everything is up to date. Everything that needs to be up to date is up to date. For a second there, imagine yourself in that situation where everything that is on your to-do list that you probably have a to-do list right now, imagine it's just gone, disappears. It's not just gone, imagine it done. Like, all of those things are done. How good would you feel? You'd feel like there's stones lifted off of your shoulders. You'd actually feel so good about that. And when you don't have a to-do list, that's exactly what happens. You always feel much lighter because, like, what am I going to do this today? This is evening right now. It's 7 p.m. right now. 7 p.m. for me. I have nothing I need to do. I'm just going to live my day. Like right now, I decided I'm going to record the videos because that's just when I do it. Then I'm going to go and call my girlfriend. And then I'm going to go and call my friend because we're going to be planning a trip we're going on. And then I'm going to go to sleep. Notice how none of these are to-do list tasks. This is something I do like every day. This is just part of the day, right? All the things that you do, you know, it shows the importance of it. And because you do, or a lot of people, especially vloggers, like to show this nice morning routine and all of that, I have tried it. It never works. It's such a waste of energy. It shows, you're telling your brain, this is my most important task. That's why I'm doing it. Well, it's clearly not. Organizing the to-do list cannot be more important than the actual doing of the to-do list. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, if you guys want, check out the link in the description. I talk about all this kind of stuff in detail with actionable advice on my school community. Other than that, thanks for watching.